Congress began a new session with Republicans in control of both houses. But of course, the GOP can't overcome Senate filibusters and President Obama's vetoes. Reince Priebus has been RNC chairman for 3 years. His party is ready for a fight, and he joins us now from Washington, D.C. Mr. Chairman, thanks so much for talking to us.
Hi, how are you?
Well, let me start by asking you about the terrorist attacks in France last week. Do you think that President Obama should have been there?
I think someone should have been there. Clearly, you know, we have a vice president and we have a secretary of state and an attorney general. I think someone should have been there. You know, I don't know all of the potential security risks that might be involved, of course, but clearly it would appear someone should have been there, and I don't know what the president was doing during that event, but pretty disappointing that someone wasn't there, that's for sure.
But let me ask you about the Republicans' agenda for 2015. You recently argued in an op-ed for more jobs and for rolling back Obamacare. But as you know, President Barack Obama, he has created more than 4 million jobs. He signed Obamacare into law more than 4 years ago. So why are you still fighting these fights? To some people, it might sound like old news.
Look, the jobs have been created, but I think that we can do a lot better. And I don't think that the president's been engaged enough on some of the things that even members of his own party have been engaged with. Keep in mind that a lot of the bills, I think it was something like 60 or 70 bills that were sitting on Harry Reid's desk that related to jobs and the creation of jobs were actually drafted by Democrats. So I'm not just beating some Republican drum here. His own party has grown a pretty high level of frustration with his disengagement in the process.
Mr. Chairman, let's talk about immigration. Senator Lindsey Graham said recently that Republicans' chances of winning the White House will be almost non-existent if they don't move on immigration reform. But instead, Republicans in the House are trying to repeal President Barack Obama's executive action on immigration. And why are they doing that? If they continue doing that, aren't you concerned that you'll lose the White House again in 2016?
Well, actually, I think there's two different things going on. I think you can intellectually separate the two. Number one, I do agree that we have to have serious immigration reform in this country. And everyone in our party, including Rand Paul and others, so all spectrums, Lindsey Graham to Rand Paul, agree that we need to have serious immigration reform. But the issue, I see it, Jorge, and I think it's important for your viewers to understand, this is a fight over the Constitution. Put immigration aside. This is a question over whether or not the president has the authority under the law to pass or to actually create this executive action that he took 60 days ago. I don't believe he does under the Constitution. That's the question. The question is,
he has the
does
authority that
Article
other presidents, Republican and Democratic presidents, have done exactly the same. Reagan did it.
Not in this way, though, Jorge. I don't believe he does to this magnitude that he's passed or that he's drafted this executive order.
Mr. Chairman, let me move on. There's been quite a firestorm following reports that Congressman Steve Scalise addressed a white supremacist crowd a couple of years ago. Should he be punished for that?
Well, I mean, I think he's been pretty punished for it. I mean, he's spent the last 3 weeks talking about it. And so, look, it's something that he did 12 years ago. He regrets it. There's mixed reports as to whether when he was there at the particular event he was accused of. I don't know. I think most of his members have backed him up, and he's the whip of the House, and so therefore I take him at his word that it's a learning moment. And it's certainly not something that's been consistent or ongoing, that's for sure.
Now, tell me about 2016. You told the New York Times last December that you don't want another Mitt Romney run. Why?
No, I didn't say that. I mean, that report was ridiculous, and so I wouldn't trust that report.
What do you mean?
What I was talking about was...
They didn't quote you correctly, or what was the problem with that report?
My point that I was making was that through data and through micro-targeting, the Democrats did a very good job of knowing who their supporters were, but they also did a good job of messaging to those people that wouldn't have supported Barack Obama anyway. So the reporter got that information, mix it all up and assume that my information was that, well, I don't think Mitt Romney should run, or he wasn't a good candidate. That wasn't what I said.
So you're fine if Mitt Romney wants to run, you're fine with that?
I'm fine with whoever wants to run for president on the Republican side of the aisle.
Did you see the picture of Speaker John Boehner kissing Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi? It was strange. It was an awkward kiss. Do you think that kiss reflects the lack of cooperation between Democrats and Republicans?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. I don't know. I'm sure it was just a gesture to be nice and cordial and Happy New Year. I don't know,
All right.
Jorge. I haven't really analyzed it.
Mr. Chairman, thanks so much for talking to us, and I hope that we continue this conversation until past 2016. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.